today's class, we are going to discuss about presentation skills. We all understand the importance of presentation, but when we talk about presentation, the present generation believes that always there is a PowerPoint presentation and you stand next to a podium or a lectern and then you keep presenting. That's again a myth. You have to overcome this. When we talk about presentation, presentation is exactly the information that is stored in your mind that you want to convey to your audience. So when we talk about presentation, presentation is the information that you want to deliver, the information that you want to surpass or pass on from one particular person to the other. Whenever we talk about presentation, of course, it can be done with the help of certain tools, which can be done with the help of certain aids, but not necessarily that every time you're going to use tools and aid to give the presentation. It may happen that though you have prepared with the tools and aids, but due to the failure of internet, due to the failure of electricity, or due to some or the other reason, you're not able to use the tools or aid. So in such circumstances, you cannot say that I cannot give the presentation because I am not able to present my slides. So that would again show that how poor your presentation skill is, how how unprepared you are. So therefore, keep this in your mind that whenever we talk about the presentation skills, or when we discuss about presentation, presentation always states the information that is there in the mind of the speaker when he or she wants to share it, when he or she is trying to disseminate this information from from his memory box to the others. Such things are called as presentation. Presentation are generally given with tools, without tools. So you should be prepared for both the circumstances, or even without tools and aids, of course, you can give the presentation. So what are the things that we have to keep in our mind when we want to give a fantastic presentation? Let us understand about all these in today's class. So when we talk about the presentation, the main purpose of the presentation is to help people understand what exactly you want to inform, what exactly you want to share the information for, what is the reason behind it. Are you going to persuade them? Are you going to educate them? Or are you going to inform them? These are the three main purposes because of which the presentation are generally given, or the presentation is conducted or held or scheduled. We want to inform people about something. We want to persuade people so that they can bring positive change in their action, which may be again in favor of the organization or the institution, and sometimes even to educate people like your teacher. Right now I'm using this online platform sharing my slides so that you can get connected with whatever I'm trying to present through my speech. The slide is going to help you in getting that connection, or in order to visualize that particular image, and this is a tool that I'm using. Otherwise you will be only listening to my audio if I don't present this presentation slide. So keep this in your mind that when we talk about presentation, presentation has three important purposes. There can be other purposes also too, but broadly we can categorize it into three different segments. The first one is to inform people, the second is to persuade people, and the third is to educate people. When we talk about these purposes, what is it that we have to keep in our mind when we are preparing these presentations? Whenever you are preparing any of the presentation, these six critical questions are to be asked time and again if you really want to create that right emphasis, if you really want to create that right impact on the audience. So if you do not create that right impact on the audience, you will see that it becomes difficult for people to understand, difficult for people to know exactly what is it that you are trying to convey. So the first question that is generally asked during the interview, or during any of the speech processes, or during any of the activities where people are trying to listen to you is, what is it that you want to speak? What is the topic? What is the main objective? So when we talk about presentation, if you are giving your presentation during the time of interview, during the time of proposal presentation, during the time of report presentation, during the time of your idea presentation, that is business idea or any of the plans. So please remember, the first and the most important question that you should ask before giving any presentation is, to whom am I going to give this presentation? Know your audience. Knowing your audience is going to help you a lot, because according to their knowledge, according to their expectation, according to their level of understanding, you're going to design, you're going to draft your presentation. You may be practicing, you may be preparing, but you have to plan well ahead so that you can present your thoughts, you can present your ideas in the best possible manner. What is it that you want to convey? Again, matters a lot. If you do not know what you want to inform, what is the purpose, what is it that exactly you want to communicate to the audience, you cannot present it with great confidence. So, knowing the content and level of content and how much that you want to impart matters a lot. Where are you going to communicate? What would be the position where the audience are going to sit? Like if there is any projector, if there is any internet facility, if there is any slider, or if the audience are going to sit, are the audience going to stand? Will it be in the auditorium? Are you very close to the audience? Are you going to stand on the stage and then only share your slides? What is it that you are going to present? So where exactly you're going to present matters a lot after identifying what is it that you're going to present. So first, know the audience. Second, what exactly you want to convey, where exactly you're going to convey, when are you going to convey? Is it the daytime, right? Nighttime? What is the event? Who are the audiences? What would be their mindset? So know when you're going to give the presentation. Are you going to give the presentation in the very beginning, or are you going to give it after 10 or 12 presentations? What would be the state of mind of the audience? How much will they be connected with your presentation? What would be their level of understanding? So know when are you going to give that particular presentation. Why presentation is so important? You have to create that curiosity, you have to create that anxiety in the mind of the audience, that why they should listen to you, why they should pay attention to your presentation. And how can you do this? How can you grab the attention? This is the trick. And if you can exactly hit the nail in the right place, you will definitely nail it in a proper way. So if you really want to nail it in a proper way, let us understand how to do it in the most successful manner. So let us proceed ahead with further knowing about how to present our presentation in the best way, so that the other five critical questions like who, what, where, when, and why are properly addressed. To know more or to proceed ahead, first thing that we should understand is giving presentation is not a cakewalk. Whenever you're asked to give any presentation, it requires lots of planning, it requires lots of preparation, it requires lots of practice, and then finally comes the presentation part. So if you do not plan well, if you do not prepare well, if you do not practice well, you cannot present it in a proper way or in the desirable way. So when you're talking about giving a good presentation, or when you want to deliver a wonderful presentation, what are the things that you have to keep in your mind? The four P's that we have already discussed. For that, you should always understand that what is your state of mind. Being the one who's going to present the presentation, as a presenter, what is your state of mind? Know the situation. If you are going to face the audience who are not known to you, what is your way of taking ahead the presentation? How do you react? How do you respond? How do you feel yourself when you are standing in front of 10, 20, 30 odd people whom you are not knowing? And how are you going to speak and communicate in front of them? So, how do you get rid of that unfamiliar situation? How can you bridge that gap? What are the icebreakers that you have to keep in your mind? So, do the brainstorming. That again matters a lot. If you do that proper brainstorming, it is going to help you to identify the right icebreaker, and with the help of right activity, right icebreakers, you can connect with the audience in very short span of time. Develop your level of confidence. Now, developing the level of confidence can happen only with two C's that we have discussed many a times, that is content and communication. If you are a good communicator and if you have right quantum of content in your mind, automatically you will see that your hesitation is shunned and you are a great confident person. But in case if you are lacking in content, or in case if you are not good communicator, certainly either the way. So for example, if you have good content but poor communicator, or even if you're a good communicator but lack of content, it cannot help you to build up that confidence level. So if you really want to bridge that gap, or if you really want to connect the content with communication, you should have good content plus communication in order to present your idea or thought with great level of confidence. Please understand that when you are presenting, people want to know more from you because they believe that you are an expert, you know far better than them, or they are there to learn something new from you. So that sense of isolation will always be there when you are on the stage, when you are standing in front of the audience. How can you get rid of that isolation? Have that confidence that yes, I know better, or I am the best. And that's the reason people are sitting or people are standing and they are keen to know more from me. They are showing their interest so that they can enhance their knowledge, they can learn a lot from my experiences and from my expertise. So when you have this inner respect, when you have this inner motivation, when you inspire your own self, you will see the sense of isolation. Oh my god, I'm the only person on the stage. How will I face the audience? This is going to get rid of. Don't look foolish. Know that you are great, you are smart, you can present your ideas and thought in the best possible way. And there is nothing which is called as fear. Fear comes only when you do not have that self respect and self confidence. Bridge up that gap by practicing, by doing the rehearse. If you rehearse a lot many times, automatically you will see you can present your ideas and thoughts without any barriers, without any hindrances. So if you do so, if you follow these steps, certainly you will see that you can present your ideas and thoughts in the best possible manner. As stated earlier, knowing audience matters a lot. If you know your audience, certainly you can present your ideas, you can present your thoughts in the best possible manner. So, how do we identify who the audience is? These are the common questions that you should ask before entering into the presentation hall wherein you're going to give the presentation, or even before preparing your presentation. In fact, if you can do this, this can definitely help you in getting the right dots connected, and you can fulfill the requirement of the audience. You can stand as per the expectation of the audience. Know who the audiences are, from where do they come, what is their background, so what is their age level, what is their gender, how much knowledge do they have, are they coming from the different cultures, or are they belong to one single region wherein their expectations are the same. If you are addressing the audience who are young, so how can you tap their thoughts, how can you connect with their thoughts and ideas, what is it that you have to present so that they will feel they connected, they will feel relaxed, they will feel anxiety, or they will feel that positive vibes within themselves so that they want to listen more and more to you. So know all these things. These are very, very important, along with the topic that you are going to present, along with the brand that you are connected with, along with the institution or organization that you are representing. You should know about all these at good level. Sometimes language could become a barrier. So in case if you find that the language is barrier, you can present your presentation which can be a combination of like couple of languages. It could be bilingual instead of having only one single language that you are going to use. Again, remember, presentation is not meant for yourself. It is meant for the audience. If audience are unable to understand, and if they cannot understand what you are trying to present, that means you are not doing, or you are not fulfilling the requirement of the audience. And the first thing that is, what is it that they are there, that is not going to fulfill. So please understand, language should be always overcome. Try to understand the expectation of the audience and do bridge this gap by presenting in the language that is very comfortably understood by the audiences. You can do a small survey. You can always identify what is the age, what is the background, what is the educational background of the audiences, how much do they have the experience related to the particular topic, are they aware of the topic, and in case if they are aware, you can again gather certain experiences, certain caselets, certain case studies, or you can even share certain anecdotes with them so that they feel they show up more enthusiasm, they feel connected, and they can be there with you with your speech or the presentation. Body language matters a lot. While a presentator is presenting his or her presentation, the presenter must always keep in mind that when you give a presentation, your body, along with your words, matters a lot to the audience. If you're saying something, but if your expressions are not matching with what exactly you are trying to communicate, people will not show interest, or their interest will die. So work out on not only what the way you are going to speak, but at the same time, work out on your body language. That is, you have to have right facial expressions, your eye contact. You cannot look only at certain group of people. You should always try to grab the attention of the audience by looking at each and every person, whosoever is there in that particular room. Work out on your posture, work out on your body language. You cannot be lousy, you cannot be lethargic, you cannot be speaking in low voice. You have to work out on your volume, you have to work out on tone, you have to work out on your expression. You have to present your facial expressions in such a way so that the audience feels enthusiastic and feels connected with what you are trying to communicate. So here is the structure of your presentation, and you have to keep in your mind always when you are giving the presentation, that when you are presenting any of your presentation, the main idea and the concept should match with the expectation of the audience. If the expectation, that is, if the purpose is not fulfilled, audience will not get connected. And if they are not connected with what you are presenting, trust me, they are going to create noise. They will feel dejected, they will feel sad, they will feel depressed. Either they will be bending their head down on the on the bench, or they may be looking here and there, they may be yawning, or they may get engaged into some other activity. Probably they start reading something else. So keep these things in your mind, that if you are not connecting well your audience, they will not show any interest. So how will you connect the audience? By asking certain questions, by making them understand the purpose of the presentation, and hook them up with the presentation. And that can be done through different activities, that can be done through different games, that can be done through different questions. You can also puzzle them, you can ask certain questions, and which can be very interesting, and then connect the audience. So develop that main points of the presentation, have the clear purview of what exactly you want to present. Know the age group, know the understanding level, as we have already discussed this. And also the theme of the presentation should match as per the expectation of the audience. Once when you work out on these, you will certainly see that you are going to give the presentation in the best way. Logic and order is very important. The matter that you're going to present in the presentation again matters a lot. The facts should be well presented, the figures should be well presented in the form of tables, charts. The infographic matter a lot. Now, when we talk about infographic could be also pictographic. When you are using the pictures of different graphs, could be the data in the form of tables, in the form of charts, in the form of pie, in the form of bar, or in the form of graph. Anything that you are using wherein the information is shared graphically, either in the form of pictures or in the form of a graph. Please remember, these matters a lot. Instead of hypothetical, more of the real facts matters a lot. Knowing the experts or even sharing the experts' opinion again will connect the audience, will hook the audience. And statistics, instead of writing the numbers in the form of table, present it in the form of tables and charts and graphs so that they can understand it in a better way. So when we talk about the visual aids, when we were talking about infographic, we were in fact talking about the visual aids, which could be in the form of video, which could be in the form of pictures. Why they matter a lot? Reason for using these visual aids is, whenever we use any text or when we are sharing the information in textual form, remember, only 7% of the information that you share will be remembered by the audience after a day or two. If you are presenting any audio, the vocal 38% of your information can be recalled after a day or two. But if it is visual, that is, if you are showing through videos or through pictures, 55% of the information can be retained even after 3 days. So this matters a lot, isn't it? You want to connect the audience, and if you really want to connect the audience, try to visualize the things, make them visualize the thing, make them relate to what they are listening, so that they can keep in their mind, or they can keep the information in their memory box for a longer period of time. The importance of these comes when we talk about the objective of presenting our presentation. Why are we presenting this? We want to present in front of the audience so that they can remember the information that is presented with them for a good number of days. And if you are presenting anything in the textual form, you can see that is through bullet points, 33% can be recalled, And if it is through visual slides, 67% of the information can be recalled. Now, to give you a best example, if you are reading a story and if you are watching the same story in the form of a video on YouTube, now, I want to make a small understanding. When you watch a video, your eyes are watching it, your ears are listening to it, and sometimes you laugh. Sometimes the joke that you are watching that tickles you, isn't it? Because your sensory organs, as well as your sense organs, are directly or indirectly connected to what you are watching. And that is the reason why 67% of the information can be retained when you are visualizing the things. But if you are talking about reading material, say for example, if you are just reading a story, of course, the story is very good. It's an interesting one, but you can remember and you can recall it only up to 33%. Now, if you talk about the retention part, after 3 days, if you have watched any of the visual things, not only after 3 days, even after a year or two, you can still remember the movie that you have watched in the theater. So that could be retained up to 50%. But when we talk about the textuals, minimum 7% or maximum 10% can be recalled by us. So therefore, try to avoid less number of information in textual form, try to present more in visuals, which I can be more beneficial for the audience. So why we should present more of visual, or why we should use visual aids? Because that is going to help us to present our idea, to present our purpose with the audience in the more comprehending and comprehension manner. It will help us to present the information in the right form. It will help us to connect with the audience and to break the monotony, to break the isolation, to believe that it is only me who is going to present and audience is just listening and watching to me. No, that is not going to happen. When you participate, when you make it participatory, you will see that the observation of the audience has improved. They are more interacting and they are more participatory. So visual aids will help you even to present the complex ideas in the most simplest way. Say, for example, if you are talking about a theory which you have to present in front of the audience, the same theory that is presented in words will become very difficult for a person to to understand. But if we are representing the same, or if we are trying to represent it in visual forms, it becomes easy for a person to understand. That is the reason why in play schools you must have seen, gone are the days where students are asked to only write on the pages. Instead of writing, they are now using visual aids. The usage of visual aids is helping people or helping students to understand and grab the information and retain the information for a longer period of time. Reinforcement is the main idea which can be accomplished when you are using the slides. And when we talk about the delivery, work out on your eye contact, work out on your gesture, the way you are going to present. The posture matters a lot. How much is the movement of your body, from where do you move, how much do you move, what is the distance that you are going to maintain between you and your audience matters a lot. Please remember, time limit again plays very important role. Too much of information, that is overdose of the information, is never accepted or never appreciated. Keep the content very simple, keep the content easy to understand. The number of bullet points that you're going to present on each slide should not be more than 7. This is again very important, and you have to keep it. Try to minimize the text, try to add more of visuals, pictures, and other information so that the people can understand it in a better way. So how do you handle the question? This is again very important thing when you are giving any of the presentation. Most of the time, after completing the presentation, the audience show their anxiety of asking questions and clearing their doubts. Often, the presenter, the one who has presented the presentation, feels nervous or tend to lose his patience when audience keep on asking questions. You have to manage this, because if you know how to handle the question, you can definitely connect with your audience, you can bridge the gap, you can also help people understand that how knowledgeable you are, and people will have more respect towards you. So if even if they are asking, the repetition of questions are happening, you should not feel sad, you should not feel uncomfortable. Rather, take up the questions time and again and answer, and try to answer in positive way, try to answer with full confidence and in great communicative way. Presume the question. This is one of the best way a presenter can always present the presentation. Before giving any presentation, try to identify what are the common questions that could be asked by the audience, or which can be asked by the audiences, so that you can prepare the answers in well in advance. Know the question, have a control over the question. You should know, like if there are audience who are very smart and who are going to ask you the question, so be very well prepared and let the audience know that how many answers you are going to, how many questions you are going to take, and how many answers you are going to present, and how to park the questions. If there are any questions wherein you don't know the answer, you can always admit the fact that you may not be having the answer, and how can you get back, or how can you come back to the person in order to answer that particular question of which you may not be knowing the answer. So don't bluff in front of the audience, and don't show that you know everything and you are a perfectionist. That's not possible. So if you are not having the answer of any of the question, park it aside. You can let them know that you are always there along with them to learn and to answer their question. uh, Always don't believe that any question that is asked is a dumb question. Nothing is called as silly question. Answer each and every question in the best possible way. So, friends, when you apply these common rules related to presentation skills, you will certainly see that you will definitely present it in the best possible manner. You're going to consider always the presentation as an opportunity where you can exhibit your knowledge, you can exhibit your skills, but that can happen only when you practice very well, when you prepare very well, when you plan it out in a very well manner. Always apply the technique of relaxation, feel comfortable, feel relaxed, feel good at communication. Know that your audience is keen to know more from you. Don't judge the audience, and don't have the preconceived notion that the audience are not going to listen to you. It's very important to identify that the audience have come to only listen to you. So avoid that prejudice related to I may not be able to satisfy the need of the audience. Believe in yourself, have that confidence, impress your audience, have the calm, and try to answer their questions. When you do this, certainly you will help people know more about their skills, also know more about the topic, and that will help you to give your presentation in the best possible and desirable manner. So that's all in today's class. With this, we concluded the chapter related to interview skills, wherein we discussed about the different speech styles, the different way of writing a resume and CV. How do we write the cover letter? How do we prepare for the interview processes? And how can we present our presentation skills? So that's all in today's class. We'll come back with some other topics. Till then, take care of yourself and have a fantastic day ahead.